If I were to create a study of 100 million people and ask them who has experienced loss, 100 million people would indicate that they had. Now, if I asked if loss is good for you, I'd get a variety of results. In the past few weeks, I have asked several people if they think that loss is beneficial to the human race, and I got a variety of different answers. Some answered absolutely not, while others hesitantly answered yes. So the question is loss good for us? Well, we all experience loss. It's part of human life. It's part of us. Yet, what we do with that loss can change our lives. I believe that loss, even the loss of keys to a more significant loss, is good for us. Loss can benefit us. If we continually deal with loss in an inefficient manner, however, we will suffer needlessly and painfully. We may grow bitter, depressed, or lonely. As I state this, many of my audience could probably give me 100 reasons why their loss was more painful, harder, more difficult, or that nothing good ever came from their loss. Many of you say, loss is not good. It leaves a mark and can destroy you. Some of those stories of pain and suffering I cannot even presume to understand or even comprehend. It was said once by Lauer that the loss of a child is the greatest loss that one can ever face. And I have lost 7 children before I got to hold them in my arms. I would like to speak on this delicate subject with respect to all of you who have had losses, which is to say, everyone. Look to your right and to your left. Think about your neighbor or your friend. Now, can you tell me what those losses are? Does anyone know all of your losses? Isn't there at least one loss that you really could have done without? Of course there is. There always is. But I cannot say that the benefit of your loss is more desirable than what you've lost, but I can say that you would not be who you are today if you hadn't felt that pain of loss. Loss in all forms can be beneficial and for our good. Understanding and dealing with loss appropriately can create healing and a better understanding of life altogether, creating meaning in something that may have once seemed beyond comprehension or perhaps even baffling. There are studies that say it is critical to keep a positive view of grief in mind because it is facilitating our growth rather than simply mending loss. I believe, however, that loss is good. It facilitates our growth and it strengthens us. We all experience loss, whether it be simple losses like the loss of our keys or our wallet, to the loss of an idea, a dream, or a wish. Loss is an experience that we all face in our lives, and I wonder if we even realize the losses that we experience daily. We lose dreams, lives we may have had, simple interactions with people, or a chance to be someone different than we are now. Each loss changes us. It changes who we are now, it changes our future, and it changes who we will become from that moment on. Loss is an inescapable part of a human existence. In such a world, the secret of living is not just to make loss something that you can deal with, but to make it meaningful. So how can we live each day with this loss? Each day we experience micro losses that change our everyday living. These losses for a child may be each day failing to accomplish a task, losing a toy, or even dropping something off of their dinner plate. Young athletes experience these losses several times during each practice, and each day these coaches take these young children who cannot even read and teach them complicated skills and drills that we can't even dream of. Lessons like this can only be taught by failing over and over, and each time experiencing those losses. Children in school feel this pain when they are picked last on the playground. Teenagers who are denied a date or a group of friends experience this loss almost daily. These small lessons gradually teach each one of us powerful and helpful lessons for everyday living. Now, you can all pat yourselves on the back here, as all of you have experienced losses. And congratulations, you can deal with these. These will not cause a train wreck in your life. But imagine just for a moment that you'd never experienced these losses. How would you deal with something that you've never faced before? These lessons each day teach us unimaginable experiences that we can learn from and grow from, oftentimes without ever even knowing the specific lessons that we have learned. David Walt says, "There is nothing real in life that makes life painless. Accepting the pain of living and knowing one's heart should and will be broken is the beginning of wisdom." Part of the truth of loss is that it carries with it pain. Without this fear, without feeling that what you are going through is not worth it, these lessons are not learned. At the time, we may not want the wisdom that we are being granted and desperately cry out for a different outcome. In time, we can appreciate these losses and these lessons that we have learned, but at the moment, we cry out for what we once had. If this is how we end our loss, then we will have lost again. The strength that we gain from loss is not immediate. It takes time to heal when we lose and time to see the benefits of our loss. We search for the answer to the riddle, why? Because we want control. Give us a way to make sure that we will never lose again. But God grants this privilege to no one. Loss in our lives is good. It demands of us our growth, painful though it might be. Loss shapes us and changes us, weaving into our lives a pattern that we cannot see, giving us moments of pain and sorrow, but more importantly, of growth and strength. Just as steel cannot be made strong without the painful process of fire, we cannot grow without the painful process of loss. We may never lose the temptation to wish for what once was, but we can benefit from the losses that we have suffered. Loss is good for you. It's good for me. It strengthens you, it builds you up, and changes you in ways unseen to the human eye. It makes you strong and purifies your weaknesses. Take a moment and think. I challenge you to take your loss, turn it and bend it, shape it for your good, and rework it so you can benefit from loss as well.